Oh, don't tell me they're gonna leave. They're already done with their disturbance? Apparently they are. Ah, man. Looks like I missed it. But they're sitting here. Morning, guys. Interesting that they're gonna sit here. Okay, so a cop and a pig walk into a bar. Now what? The piggy huddle. I'm gonna sit there and talk. There was a report of a bar fight on the radio, so I came down here. Looks like it's already over with. So it must not have been much of a fight. They didn't even arrest anybody. And the address up here doesn't match what was called in. What is the address over here? 117B, so it must have been 125. I heard 25 North Main Street. The talking part was working. So, okay, go on, businessman. So a cop and a pig walk into a bar. Hey, Defend, how's it going? So I'm gonna let this Uber driver double park, not say a thing to him, or Lyft, whatever it is. He's got parking right in front of him, and he doesn't pull over. Hello, Lacey R. Mike Stevens, Bruce Langley, how you doing? Oh, she is driving away with no passenger. Interesting. Just stopped in to say goodnight. Yeah. Well, there's not much going on up here. Fight's over with, apparently. They were blocking part of the street here. And I thought it was at the bar that was down a block. And then the other officer came up here, so I came up here to see what was up and figured out that the fight was up here. Hey, Bruce. What's that total up to now, anyway? What do you know for Eric? Does anybody know when it's going to be posted? Let's put it that way. Yeah, onion rings. That's about what I saw that. Yeah. Cascadia. Good to see you. We missed the fight. And I'm only minutes away from this place. So it really must not have been much of a fight. More like a scuffle, I think, because they didn't even arrest anybody. Both paying the bond in the AM. Yeah. You're on your way to get auto. Nice. So Brighton's just gonna sit here apparently. But we are really here for him, not a silly bar fight. Yeah. They're watching the stream. Actually, they could be. They could very well be. But I don't know. There was a camera in the area. Yeah. At least they're not out giving tickets right now. They're usually out giving tickets out on the streets about this time. Instead, they're sitting here. So I'm surprised they're actually sitting here rather than going out and patrolling more. They're watching themselves sit here on the corner. We're at what street are we? Oh, Strong Street and Main Street in Brighton. Bridge Street is 1 block down. So this is Main Street, and the 0-100 block is Bridge Street. So we're at the 100 block north of Bridge Street, and 0-100 block east-west because it's Main Street. Oh, here comes some of the drunks. Maybe that's why they're sitting here. Maybe the people that got in the fight or have left, and then they figure they'll come back. I don't know. This guy that walked by me didn't look like he's walking a straight line. As long as he's not driving, he's alright. So, plenty of Lyft drivers and Uber drivers around. There isn't too many taxis in Brighton though. But Lyft and Uber definitely operate here. There's another Lyft driver pulling in down there. So at least people know to get a ride. So that's always a good thing. Yeah. So there's a few bars here on this street. We got a bar right there on the right. We got a bar on the left that are up here. We got at least one bar on the right down here, one bar on the left down here. So there's at least 4 bars here in town, right on Main Street, right here by Bridge, that stay open till the normal hours. Give people something to do. No, it's not dead. There's people out here right now talking, and a lot of people park off the main street, so they're not on the main street here, so that their cars don't get hit and things like that. I guess, I don't know. It's not that dead in there in these bars as you think it is. So, do we have any casinos nearby? Close to here, it's over an hour drive to a casino here. From here, nearest casino would be in Black Hawk, which is in the mountains. So it's over an hour drive to it. So Black Hawk and Central City are the closest casinos here. We're in Colorado. We're in the Denver area. We're actually up north of Denver in Brighton right now. This is Brighton police right here. There's 2 patrol cars here that responded to the disturbance in progress as a bar fight. But it must have been more of a scuffle because nobody got arrested. And no ambulance, no nothing else. So mustn't been good enough to say you're out of here, and yeah, bar disagreement. Must have kicked one of the persons out or something like that, and that'd be about it. I used to work in a bar a long time ago. So a lot of times they don't even 86 you unless it's something serious. In a small town like this, well, I've never been in these bars ever, so I couldn't tell you how they operate here. So they're just gonna sit here, it looks like, until they get another call. Either that or they're waiting to see if anything develops inside the bar over here. Especially if they didn't kick anybody out. Let's see here. I used to spend enough time in bars that I should have got a paycheck but never worked in one. Yeah, well, I spent enough time in the bars in a day that I was eventually given a paycheck. You didn't know what 86 meant until you were 31, yeah. Yeah, we're cop watching. This was nearby, so it was up near where I live. So I came to see what was up. You know, it sounded interesting. You know, disturbance in progress, bar fight, uh, usually ends up with a lot more cops than 2 of them at it, and an ambulance and a fire department and all that. Yeah, that's true. If you hang around long enough, they put you to work. That is true, Dave. But I no longer go to bars. I haven't gone to. I don't think I've stepped foot in a bar because of another friend that I know went to the bar, and I went with him. Drank soda while I was there. Played some pool. He did a fine job of holding down a bar stool. Yeah, yeah. I did a fine job of playing pool in my day before I got injured. Before my shoulder got injured, I used to do tournaments and leagues and all that. And when I injured my shoulder, I couldn't play competitively anymore. And that's why I went to the bars mainly, was to play pool. Of course, when that happened, I was working at the bar, and I quit drinking while I was working at the bar. I even had free drinks, all I could drink, and I quit drinking. So that wasn't even an issue, stopping drinking. Hello, Laserdisc Rooster. So that was well over 20 years ago that I stopped drinking. 9-ball, I used to play 8-ball mainly. I ran pool tournaments. I played in pool tournaments. I captained leagues, teams in leagues of the pool leagues. Pocket pool. I know what you meant when you said that. Cool, no pool. So I used to be pretty good at playing pool once upon a time. Now I'm lucky if I can win a game against a decent player. But we had some good players that would come in every now and then at one bar where I ran the tournament at. And the only time I would play in those tournaments was when they showed up. Don't tell anybody, but I'd beat them and then I'd lose to one of the lesser players that's, would come to the tournament uh, and let them win, basically. Just a little miss here and there type thing, 20 years ago. But I'd take out the top players thinking, so that they wouldn't think it's that easy to come in and win the tournament. And they'd walk away from it with all the money. So, yeah, I know, kind of unfair probably, wasn't it? What do you guys think of that, of me doing that? Beating the top guys that come in, because I know who the players were. And I'd play only when they showed up in the tournament. And I'd beat them and then lose to a lesser player. Sometimes I actually did win the tournament too. How you doing, Chevy? Chevy Racing? Is that like racing in Wisconsin? We got lots of people out here still. They can't even park. They're not even up against the curb. They got their four ways on. Everybody's heading to the bar. They're not even parked on the side of the road. They're about 4 feet off of the curb, part way in the lane. That's a bad sign that you've been drinking. Yeah, like racing. Yeah, but are you from Wisconsin? Racine, Wisconsin. Yeah, make love. That was always the fun part of it. That was always the fun part of it. They get to brag that they beat me. Wish I was in a bar fight. Really, Wobbly Boost. Well, isn't there a bar nearby you? But yeah, some of those guys that came in to play pool thought they were the shit, you know. I played them regularly at other bars, and sometimes it would go back and forth. But you're talking about friendly games at that point, you know what I mean? I could hold a pool table at the bar all night long if I wanted to. And only when I get tired and wanted to take a break from it would I lose intentionally to give it to another player for them to play, to run the table for a while. And I never really played for money a lot other than tournaments. I wasn't hustling people for money at the bars. It wasn't side bets or anything. I'm like, no, I don't do that. You want to play for a drink? That's fine. But, I'm not here to hustle people. I'm here to play pool. If you can beat me, you can beat me and you can run the table. So I probably could have made a lot of money hustling people. I'll tell you that much. And I mean a lot of money. So, but I was captain of several teams on pool leagues. Should promote peace. Yeah. The black line to the pocket. I don't know. I wonder if I got my volume on my scanner down. Probably do. I can't hear it very well. I just knew geometry. Yeah. Definitely knew geometry. Pool is all about geometry. It's also about making that cue ball do what you want it to do. Because it isn't just bouncing straight off of a bumper, you know, even at an angle, it isn't putting it off that bumper and expecting, you know, hitting it straight on and expecting it to go where you want. Using the cue ball with some spin on it can change where that cue ball goes by a lot. I mean, when you can hit a ball hit going forward with a spin and make it stop and go in reverse before it even hits a bumper, you know, you get some finesse controlling a cue ball. So it's a little bit more than geometry. Yeah, Aggie. I've made some near impossible shots on a pool table. I remember one tournament where I made a bad shot. I had 2 balls left on the table basically, and one of them was the 8 ball. The other one was, you know, the other ball that I needed to put in. And when I hit it, the cue ball didn't end up where I needed it. It ended up behind their balls, and I had to make the 8 ball shot. And the 8 ball was clear on the rail down near the bottom, and I was behind balls up on the top end of it. I made the shot though. Wasn't easy. But I had to put a lot of English on that cue ball to get it to go all the way down there like that. This guy's gonna sit here all night, it looks like.
Right. Out of your city. What address? 11061 Rosalie Drive. Copy, thank you. You're welcome, what for you?
I don't know why they just want to sit here tonight, but they do. Maybe they expect another fight down here or something. I don't know. They want to be close by.
Same traffic. Okay.
Hopefully we'll see Eric and Otto out in the early AM, but it's probably going to be more like afternoon. You never know. Yeah, the old times. When I was a lot younger. 20 years flies by, too.
6120, can you drive white now? Just in case you walk across the field. That's for...
These guys are just wanting to sit here. What time is it anyway? It's almost 2 a.m. That's probably why they're sitting here. The bars are about to close up. So everybody's leaving the bars. I don't know that they want to get drunk drivers, but maybe they expect another fight to happen. Comes another Lyft driver. See, there's a lot of Lyft drivers that are coming here to pick up people. So a lot of people have wised up over driving to bars. What? No. No, go ahead. Guy's asking if I was crossing the street.
320, we have a description on them? Davis, Longbeard 510, white, blue, checker true. Thank you.
I don't think you're going to see any more action down here, guys.
3721 parking.
It's usually pretty civilized. Getting out of bars. They're like, yeah, let's go home and sleep it off type thing. You know? And they're joking around over there. I can hear them laughing. So, civilized drunks. Yeah. Well, it isn't all bar fights. I mean, you actually don't even hear very many bar fights down here.
Can you ask the information to the car, please?
Although when I was down here last time, it was during the summertime, and I parked. Where did I park? I think I parked right over here, near where that silver SUV is. I parked over there. Somebody on the other side pulled out, backed into another car next to mine, hit it, and then pulled out coming this way. And if you look at the sign right there, it says one way. He came out coming this ways, down the one way, and then came out here onto Main Street. So he hit a car, went the wrong way on a one-way street, and then left. I was sitting right there on that bench, as a matter of fact. I was sitting there static recording when that happened, because there was a lot of stuff going on that night, and I thought there was going to something happen here, and nothing really happened here at all. So other than the drunk hitting a car and going down the wrong way. So it's quieting down quite a bit now because the bars are closing up. I think I'll walk down this ways here in a minute. Mustang's coming around again. I'll walk down this ways. The bar should be closing up, kicking everybody out. How you doing, suspicious activity? This one's the main bar and karaoke. So I don't know how popular karaoke still is, but apparently it's popular enough. But they got a bar that still does it. Back before 2000, though, when I was working at the bar, I worked at the 92nd Avenue Tavern off of 92nd and Wadsworth. And Sunday nights, karaoke there was the thing. Place was, wall-to-wall people. Oh, yeah, yeah. I've had to break up fights at the 92nd Avenue Tavern. I was the bar back, bouncer, door checker person. That's the bar I was working at. And there was some fights in there. It was a biker bar. Well, they're not rowdy enough where they arrested anybody, which they're sitting down over there. But I remember breaking up a few fights at the bar. Nothing real serious either for the fights, except for one that I missed by a few minutes. That I was scheduled to be there, and I was late by a couple minutes. Somebody got hit by a pull stick over the top of the head. Had to go to the hospital, and I missed it by a couple minutes. And I should have been there. I got yelled at big time for that one, for not being there on time and missing that. We got the bar and lounge here on the right side. People coming out now. This is the one that usually has the most people in it, and the one across over there doesn't have as many, I guess, on a night like this. But they're booting everybody out of the bars now.
Next.
There's still people in the bars. They're getting the bar stools put up, but there's still people in there that they're kicking out. Serving food till 2 a.m. 7 days a week. Really. So walk in there at 1:59 and say you want some food. They say they're serving till 2 a.m., right? So I don't think that's the case. But another Lyft driver picking up people. So there's still a dozen people in the bar, probably waiting on Lyft drivers to come pick them up to take them home. So if you're a Lyft driver in this town, apparently you can make some decent money driving people home from this bar. You don't even have far to take them usually. You know, local bar, local people. Take them home, come back here, pick up more people. Get a lot of trips in quick. There's a bunch of people coming out now. Good half a dozen people out now. Picking them all out of the door. A lot of them parked here. Oh, Brighton's on the move. We might hear a call on Brighton here in a moment on the scanner. Because they're moving now. They might have to go do a cover for a stop somewhere. I think he went the other way though. Yeah, they did. They're avoiding me now. I'll come down here and watch them come out onto on Bridge Street here. Yeah, here's one right here. See? One out on Bridge Street. Where's the other one? That's another Brighton right there.
Did you say that was a Colby?
Wait a minute, that might not be Brighton. You got to remember the jail's right up the street here for Brighton, for Adams County, and there'll be other officers from other districts bringing people. That's Westminster. They bring them to the jail, so then they got to leave after they drop them off. So we do see other officers from other cities dropping off people that, you know, at the jail straight up the street here and off to the left. There's another Brighton. I haven't heard any calls for Brighton. So
1701, Court is Vancouver to 27
haven't seen anybody actually drive from the bar either. Everybody's been picked up. Not a single person has gone to a car themselves from the bar that I've seen and drove off.
213. 21.
Here in about 15 minutes, it's going to be like a ghost town here. I'll bet. Oh, there's some people coming out with vehicles now. So some people did drive. A lot of them are walking this ways. Must be time to get out of here though, since there ain't nothing going on.
People located in unit 1701.
I mean, we don't really have anywhere else to go. Anyway.
364, I'll be on guard. Confirm correct. Copy on guard, confirming code 8 at 202.
So it's 2:03 now, according to the clock. Right there.
36237 show station. The visual deputy tower, she's advising that her boyfriend is known to carry knives and that he did cut himself. Would you like me to get medical started that way? Yeah, go ahead and start over. Happy stand by for questioning. Kenny at 202.
Alright, guys. Alright, what did I miss there? Not much. Doug exposed himself. It's not officer lane, it's defendant lane. You got to get the name right. I don't know about you guys. the streets of Brighton. Whole lot of nothing. And this is Main Street, guys. Pretty desolate, isn't it? This happens to be South Main Street. Super Bowl's coming up, yep. We're here to get some water. So you guys can hang out while I get some water. Here, I'll put the scanner next to you guys so you can listen to while I'm doing this, so that maybe you hear something good. Let me arrange a few things here.
Actually. By sending you a found property as you see. One 399. Copy, thank you, work. Copy, 2-9. Copy, all units clear, 210. We're in contact with the other half. In contact with the other half at 210.
And in case you're wondering why I would get water here, yes, I did use now marijuana. And in case you're wondering why, you haven't been paying attention to the stories that I've been covering for Brighton about their slush fund and their bad water here. The water here hasn't passed a test for EPA standards in 3 years, and the mayor did not tell the people of Brighton. That's one of the reasons why he got ousted, because he didn't tell the people that the water isn't passing the EPA standards. How much is it per gallon? 35 cents a gallon, $1.50 for 5 gallons. So I just got 10 gallons for $3.
1 adult male unit, 17, mileage 956.
The water in Brighton is not suitable for drinking. The ice? $1.25 for 10 pounds, $2.25 for 20 pounds. Loose. And the bagged ones are $1.50 for the bagged ones. Why not free water? Because well, you get free water out of the tap, but it's not suitable for drinking. You know, you can get all the free water. Well, it ain't even free then, because you're still paying the city for it. You know, so it's not free out of the tap either. You're still paying a water bill. Still not bad. 10 gallons for $3. That's cheaper than what you pay at Walmart. Yeah, nothing hardly is free. There's a few free things. They haven't started charging for oxygen yet, for the air you breathe, but someday they might find a way to charge you for it. Where are we headed? Just down here to the parking lot by the McDonald's at the moment. Coronavirus is free. 90 cents a gallon. That's pretty high for water. Considering gas is, you know, $2 and what? I just paid $2.29 a gallon. That's akin, you know, what is, you know, it's getting to be like buying gas. Buy your water.
Back there in a 2015 Infiniti out of Michigan, all attached traffic 214.
So this is where all the people from the bars end up now, is at McDonald's. So come over here and sit and watch McDonald's for a moment. This is where the people come that just got out of the bars. They come to eat at McDonald's. Water will be more expensive than gas? Well, it could be. There's a lot of water companies that certainly make a lot of money from it, from water rights, that a lot of times that they take more water than what they're allowed. Like Nestle, for instance, in California, in a drought. Yeah, exactly. Epic theory. Yeah, Nestle's draining the aquifer. They're taking more water than what they should be and selling it in other places. And it's all greed at that point.
How about disturbance currently in progress in a noise complaint district 1 reference to noise complaint repeat situation?
Okay, where's the disturbance?
Super 85888 Broadway. Have a staff calling in that a tenant was hearing a female party yelling for help from room 243.
Okay, how many routes from 88 Colorado?
55th and Broadway.
5888 Broadway Street, 5888 Broadway Street, again room 243. One guest reported hearing a female party yelling for help. Sound like things were being thrown around.
Monsanto, yeah.
216.
36556.
3656.
Yep, News Now Marijuana, yeah, they do that.
Adam Frank Nora, Tom 80. Adam Frank Nora, Tom 80. Right on the red Durango.
So we got a disturbance way down south. That's a long distance away. I didn't actually plan on going out and doing cop watching tonight.
Current 2000 Durango out of Strasburg, code 6 at 217. 371. Road 2 Broadway.
Yeah, a lot of the bottled water isn't even filtered. That is very true. You buy their natural spring water and it's straight out of the source, not even filtered.
217.
So, yeah, you got to watch what you buy.
Direction to travel or any other description?
This happened 2 minutes
Brita
ago.
water
There's no
picture.
DRP. One of them, a white male.
I found that Brita doesn't work that well, by the way, Paradise Lost.
Has a weird acid. I don't have a description on the other one.
You can filter your own water, yes, but I find that Brita does not do that good of a job. There is no regulation for bottled water. Yeah, that's true. You got to remember that, yeah, a lot of it is not filtered water. It's not, purified in any way, shape, or form. It's just water.
Fire Bible District 4, fires out to 8160 Cremaria Street, 8160 Cremaria Street. There are multiple fire alarms that are being triggered. Ready for information at 218.
364. I'll be clear assist and I can go check that out.
You know what I find, the best kind of filters is a reverse osmosis filter. An osmosis filter
Okay, King
seems to do the best job. Buy water in a box for $6, yeah.
364, just be advised, looks like per the alarm company, they've had some technical issues with this alarm. Per their protocol, stop the dispatch.
Unfortunately, I used to sell
219.
water purifications, water softener systems. I worked for a company called Rainsoft. And I found out later that their presentation that they taught me to do for selling it was very deceptive. Because they have you put a dye into the water to show people how impure their water is, when actually that doesn't really show anything, because natural minerals and stuff that you would normally find in water is what you're seeing. So, I mean, you're taking out minerals and stuff like that when you're using a water softener. So that's why you don't see, in the test, you'd see cloudy stuff floating in there. And it's just natural stuff that's in the water. Doesn't mean it's not good enough water to drink. But when you got water tests done by the EPA that says your water doesn't pass their tests, and you don't tell the people in the city that you're distributing this water to, that's a problem. You trust your government to give you your water. You pay them to give you your water. And the stuff that they're giving you doesn't even pass the tests for the EPA. So the pig in the cup, each order a shot, and no one ever saw them again. Oh, okay. Took you a while to come back with that one. Just dig a well. Yeah. That doesn't mean that your water isn't contaminated on your land either, with chemicals that are being dumped on lands nearby, water tables. You know, the earth can't filter out everything. Let's put it that way. Well, that's true, Wobbly Boost. There is nothing that said that you need fluoride. Matter of fact, some fluorides are poisonous to you. There's more than one type of fluoride. Just don't drink water, period. Unfortunately, that's a requirement of your body. You need liquids.
Bill's mom would have left here to the west on foot.
222.
Your body requires liquids, so you need a... Sodas are water. Soda's really bad for you, actually. Soda has water in it, of course. And they carbonate it on a lot of them sodas. And then they add a bunch of other stuff to it. So most wells contained not fresh water. Yeah, it's water that's been sitting. So well water can get contaminated easily. The gas stations, older gas stations, leak fuel into the soil. Some of them for years. And that's back in the day when MTBE was still in the fuel. And MTBE is one of the worst things that they ever put out for putting in your fuel. It was a byproduct of producing fuel that they put back into it to get rid of the byproduct, and said it was good for your motor. An oxygenator, they said it was. Just ask California about that, and how many places that their water is so contaminated that they can't drink it, and they had to put in millions and millions of dollars worth of water treatment plants and stuff so they could have water to drink again, because their water is that contaminated from MTBE. Skip water, drink beer. Well, you know, that's why they drank beer in medieval ages and whatnot. Why they didn't drink water then is because they didn't know how to purify water. And the process of brewing beer, mead, or whatever purified the water, because you would be heating it up. So that's what people drank back then.
The other one's described as a male, blonde, tall, with white curly hair.
MTBE isn't the problem, humans are the problem. Well, MTBE was a big problem in California.
225.
Alcohol kills the germs. Well, the process of making the alcohol killed the germs.
722, I think I just had them at 117th and Fairplay, but they just behind the mountains.
Even kids drank alcohol back then.
Wherever you are, start telling people we're doing our perimeter.
Of course, it was watered down stuff, more or less, the weaker stuff. But it was still alcohol. I should be a history teacher.
3600 to 3700, you want some South Coast to come?
I don't know history that well, guys. I know enough things about it, but
Go one west, or sorry, east. No one south. Army, Miguel, go ahead and come up with the MR 911. Copy, I'm coming up from 88 on Highway 2.
I'm smarter than Rain Man.
3657 Johnson.
Fine.
700 you want us to review, no review. Repeat.
I'm sure you learn a lot from Eric too. What's that? The name of water in the chemical form, as they call it, dihydra something or another. That was some funny shit that he's done, calling in and saying that their system is full of the stuff.
Let's go Granby and 117th.
DMT
and
for short.
116th
Yeah.
Drive, Granby Street. 3632 can go to 117th.
Well, H2O. There's the other chemical name for it.
3721, I'm coming in.
Hydrogen, yeah. No, it's dihydra something or another. I forgot the full name of it. Eric knows that off the top of his head, so.
Sorry, John, the phone is up there, place you needed.
DMT is already in you, yeah. And
17th and Granby Street.
dimethyl
116th Drive and Granby Street.
something or another. No, not hydrogen dioxide. But yeah, it's water. There's specific multiple names you can go by. You know, you go H2O, one hydrogen, 2 oxygen, all that. But there's other chemical names for things. Dihydrogen monoxide. That's the one. Dihydrogen monoxide. Patrick's got it. Dihydrogen monoxide. He put a city in a panic over that one. That would have been some funny shit to have seen back in those days. Before the internet was really that big, you know? Before you could look all the stuff up easy. Yeah, the weed killer. That's Monsanto that you get to thank for that, by the way. The weed killer that they're using, putting out all over the place. And they're messing with our food supply. Roundup, yes. Very bad stuff. And it's just now coming out that the stuff is poison. That, they're proving it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the stuff. Dow Chemicals, all that. Yeah, Monsanto is global, yeah. And they're using their Roundup for their genetically modified foods, corn and stuff. And spreading Roundup because it'll grow in it, but nothing else will grow in it. So their genetically modified corn is the only thing that grows. And then if they try to grow anything else, they can't grow anything else in that field anymore. The field is poisoned at that point. Nothing can grow in it. So they poison their land with this Roundup, and then they can't grow nothing else. They're stuck with growing genetically modified foods. Yeah. Yeah, you have to leach the field. Yeah. The ground is contaminated with Roundup at that point. They can't grow nothing else.
265, rechecking status.
And it's happening a lot.
Status at 231.
They didn't tell the farmers what would happen if they tried to grow something else. Yeah. So you can't have farms, yeah. But there's a lot of poison farms out there from those chemicals.
69 block of Dahlia. Adam Boy, Young 97. Adam Boy, Young 97.
The world would be a better place without Monsanto.
Over your Mercedes sedan. Out of your city. Traffic 232.
Yeah. 5G's already been in connection, Jet. 5G's already in use. I've seen people with 5G phones already using them. It's already in use. Yeah, that's true, Jeffrey Prest, about Australia.
I'm looking at 232.
India already had 6G. I could believe that. Everywhere by 2020. Yeah, well, 5G's in effect. They don't want you knowing too much about it, though.
3610, I'm at 170.
33.
A lot of companies are working at it, Jeffrey. New World Order, yeah. Corporations. After your dollar, they'll use you until you're dead.
I'll go for it. Go for it, 233.
And when they affect these things that they've done, like 5G, it's not like you get a choice in what you get to use. If you want a phone, you got to use 5G pretty soon. Social security card is an employee number, yeah.
471 Henry Queenston.
There's a lot of messed up things. Yeah, I could believe the United States is listed as a corporation.
Occupied position on a black Subaru press out of your city, 72020 clear, valid, list 175 long street.
Ocean water, what about it? Our oceans are contaminated. You know, they're finding plastics in the snow in the Rocky Mountains now. Plastics. You know why they're finding plastics in the snow in the mountains at the Continental Divide in Colorado? It's coming from the ocean. The plastics are breaking down in the oceans into small enough particles where they can be lifted with the water. The moisture comes onto the land in the clouds, dumps it up into our mountains now. Now we're getting plastics everywhere. Yeah, we got plastics in our food. We got plastics in our water. Plastics in our soil. Everywhere.
373.
131?
There's going to be 2 males involved in this. One taller male with curly blonde hair, but
Go ahead.
should be wearing a dark color hoodie and would be armed with a knife. Possibly for his name is Caden, right?
Some guy's armed with a knife. They don't decompose, but they do break down.
Both dark in color, would have longer hair under the beanie.
Decomposing means that they're going to change from one thing into another, like a compost pile where you can turn food that's rotted into a soil, into a useful, into a mineral where it's useful for something else. A plastic can decompose to the point where it's down to molecules, but it's still a plastic. It can't be converted into something more useful from there. So the greenest people, man. Yeah. So it'll break down on the plastics, but it won't go away. It won't change into something that's useful, like a mineral. For all that.
Correct, 238. Break 265. 265, reaching status.
So you think green is McDonald's?
Heavy vehicle search 1 detained at 238.
Could be. Could very well be. We didn't get too many people coming through McDonald's tonight. That could be very true, that we could go extinct. I think the human race would probably still survive in 50 years, but things are going to change.
One unit will be clear. No report. Break. 10 units clear. You're not federal.
Robot bees replacing natural bees? I didn't hear about robot bees.
Copy from Rosewood. Hey, Roger, 239.
I'll have to look up robot bees.
Hey, Roger, 239.
Well, they're killing off the bees with their chemicals. They got to find some way to pollinate the crops.
2-4.
Without the crops being pollinated, we're dead.
What are you for copy of polling?
Good.
Yeah, bear is part of that, yeah.
Do restraints from one, also a game member. And I just got his confirmation that's all attached to the card.
Yeah, they've got 5G antennas up already. All over the place.
Okay.
We haven't seen the effects of them yet, though. Who owns Bear? Well, Bear's part of, who is it? I don't remember who it was. Oh, the 5G Wi-Fi is not the same. That is true. 5G Wi-Fi is not the same. That's a gigahertz, by the way. It's 5 gigahertz. It is not 5G like you would think it is for the phones. That's entirely different. Bear might be Johnson & Johnson, yes. Yeah. There's a lot of evil companies out there that for years, that they do things for years, and finally somebody catches on to what it is that they're doing, using chemicals to kill us, basically, that they're not telling you about it, making a buck off of you. Big pharma, basically. NASA or massa? AI? Yeah, we'll get into the Terminator days with some AI stuff.
I'll be on the phone with Jeremy.
NASA, yeah. Did you guys see the story on NASA's uniforms? You didn't? NASA came out with uniforms for their personnel, military type uniforms, and their camouflage uniforms. You know, just in case that there's trees up there in space, I guess. They basically look like military uniforms.
We did not for the 2701, and I have no other phone history for this.
There's a pretty funny story on that too. But because they compared it to in case they have to patrol some moon from Star Wars, which is, you know, a forest planet.
244. 371 units on scene federal. Copy on scene at 244. Haven 124.
Invisible material?
12255. Cloud port. Nobody walking down. Blue jeans, black shirt. Guys by male 5'10", about 200 pounds. Settling, walking north of the club.
Okay.
25.
6120 will also be enough.
Imaginary things are usually invisible. They had people asking why they didn't use black uniforms with stars on them for camouflage for NASA's uniforms. It would have been more fitting. I guess their reasoning though was There was already an abundance of military uniforms of camouflage.
3, I'm on seeing any mileage is 58.3.
Is why they use them.
On scene 242.
So, I don't agree with their reasoning. Space Force hat, yeah.
Jack, what's your one? Okay, would you give me a start similar?
Well, of course, Fitzer's affiliated of research. It's
825 again.
all related, guys. It's just another subsidiary of one of the big companies that do their own research, that say they're independent, doing independent studies. They're not independent. They're falsifying data. Big Pharma, yes. They falsify the data that they find to say things are safe. They're all owned by Big Pharma. Yeah. It's all the same stuff. It's all about money. It's all about greed. They don't want you to have natural products to heal you. They want you to buy their products.
Residents at 1162 Fairplay. Say the two gentlemen came and knocked on our door and asked for a ride to King Supers if we can get a car to go check out over there. That was at 2:33.
Yeah, they're killing us off. That's the truth. Their chemicals are killing us off. Yeah, they can't patent natural products. They could sell them, but they don't make the kind of money they do with the stuff that they can patent. Now you go to the hospital, walk out with a dozen prescriptions of things they say you need. Ask Brian Johnson about his dad, about all the pills they put him on and killed him. He was fine before they got their hands on him. After they got their hands on him, gave him a dozen prescriptions that killed him. Brian Johnson will tell you all about that.
There's someone out in the area, right? 120 all the way up to
The reason that they allow marijuana now is because it's a moneymaker for people. I bet you got cancer from all those cancer drugs, KS.
Yeah, 250.
Brighton has medical rolling somewhere. I didn't hear the call earlier though.
Should they put it as
Assault.
Assault.
51?
Somebody got assaulted here in Brighton. I didn't hear the call. Did anybody hear that call? I wasn't paying that much attention, I guess. I missed it.
Alright, 251.
They got medical showing up somewhere for an assault. Well, the banks own everything. The banks, oh, don't even get me started on the banks. My God. Look at the con job they put on the American people back when they started the Federal Reserve, which isn't even owned by the federal government. It's called the Federal Reserve.
Okay, 1013 was no report, and then 1024 was with the report.
There's even a book on it. What was that? Something about Jekyll Island?
Okay, they're calling the 13.
You know, if Trump wanted to be popular, he'd get rid of the Federal Reserve. He'd go back to the United States printing its own money. He'd get the banks tossed out of making money off of us. About them printing their own money whenever they want. If he was smart enough, he could have gotten rid of our banking system. He could have made America great by doing that, getting rid of the Federal Reserve. Look what happened to us in 2008, guys. What happened to our banking system. What happened to the Americans. All the people losing their homes. If Trump really wanted to make us great, he would get rid of the Federal Reserve. The United States should be printing its own money. It shouldn't rely on a banking system that's making them rich, not the Americans.
Only reporting people racing out east at 56th and Hudson, but then also reporting that she heard shots about 20 minutes ago. Looks like she reported it to Aurora and they never passed it on. 253.
We should have gone back to making our greenbacks our own money. That's true, Jeffrey.
Virginia and Colorado, Latin Hoover, Henry Ocean, Victor Edward Robert versus Stephen, Sam Tom Edward, Victor Edward Nora, date of birth 11/15/83, 11/15/83.
I apologize, out of which state?
Virginia and Colorado.
Copy 254.
That's true about the mortgages. And then they were being insured as grade A or the top grade of loans. So when those loans failed because the people couldn't pay, the whole market system crashed down on top of itself because of our greedy stock market people doing that. And then get bailed out by the government. I don't think anybody went to jail over that. And there should have been people going to jail in 2008 from what happened. People lost their lives, their savings, their houses. People lost a lot. Somebody should have paid for those mistakes.
Radar 61.
And that somebody was the banking system
Parties clear in Colorado.
who still get
No worker.
$1 million bonuses.
And he has a valid ID card out of Virginia.
$1 million bonuses for the bankers.
Copy, we're clear
And they
for
still get bailed out. That's why the Federal Reserve should be gone. Is because of stuff like that.
402. Again, 1402.
And we got to bail out our banking system because of their own screw-ups. It's bad. Repair the gate. But if Trump wanted to make a name for himself, that's where he should have started. Our banking system, our money system that failed the Americans in 2008. I'll bet you that cost him millions of dollars, but you never know. Maybe he made money on it. If he made money on it, he might not want to switch the system. Yeah, get rid of the central banks. Yes.
Were you able to find a DLR photo for that Stephen Hoover party?
Negative.
We can go back to printing our own money.
Okay.
Good.
Get rid of our national debt by printing our own money. The gold they stole from the people in the, 30s? They supposedly put it all down there in Fort Knox. There hasn't been an audit of Fort Knox in how long? They won't go to the gold standard again. I don't even know if there's gold in Fort Knox. Nobody can audit Fort Knox. Why can't they audit Fort Knox? I'm sure they sold the gold off for their own profits. I'm guessing the place is empty. I'm guessing that we have nothing. Oh, I'm sure the gold is stolen.
6-1 will be out in suspicious occupied. First point's going to be Colorado Temp, 1720607, 1720607, break for second.
Got.
Second one's going to be 1625014, 1625014, and we'll be on the west side of the Armada.
Copy. So gotcha.
Still good.
The United States is being sold out to China. You wouldn't even get anywhere near close to Fort Knox to audit it.
I'll still be around. He said you're out with two.
Guarantee you wouldn't get anywhere close to it to audit it. There's been people at the front door of that place before trying to audit it. And you're talking about senators and stuff and haven't been able to get in. China's the only one that will buy our debt. We don't have to have China buy our debt. We can take care of our own debt. Get rid of the Federal Reserve. Go back to doing our own money. That would get rid of our debt right there.
61, plate 1720607, clear current, 2010 Chevy Impala white color, 74 music.
Good.
Bitcoin's better off with Bitcoin than we are with Federal Reserve in one sense.
Expedition, silver color, out of Denver.
But Bitcoin isn't backed by anything. That's the problem.
01.
Of course, our American dollar isn't backed by anything either. What did Greece do? Dollars are backed by birth certificates? I don't know about that. I've heard stuff like that, but I don't know that that's a fact. America's still the most wealthy country on earth. How wealthy are you, John? You can eat. Okay. You have your own car. Okay.
So do I have a car available up here, or are they outside of our perimeter?
Nothing more? Yeah. The house you live in, you probably don't own. The car you're driving, you're probably still paying on.
Yes, sir. I'm going to need somebody to go over and get my victim's parent.
The food you're eating is the crap that they're feeding you. That they're putting out, calling it food. It's more likely making you more sick than anything else for a lot of the food that's out there. Take a look at McDonald's here. You call that healthy eating? I wouldn't call it healthy eating.
Disregard that. Miguel, can you start over? Yes, 3731 Echo.
731.
So be looking for Natasha. She should be at 10897 Peeler Street. 10897 Peeler Street.
Putting money in a bank account makes more sense than Bitcoin. That's just because you're used to it that way. But when you're putting it in the bank's using your money to make them money. If you had, so let's say you had $50,000 in your bank account. Let's say you wanted to go close your bank account. You wanted to go withdraw your money in cash from the bank. You wouldn't be able to do it.
Jack, what's your work? Vehicles released to the RO. You can show me car or something.
Banks do not keep enough cash on hand to pay out the people that put the money into it. That's what happened in 2008 when people went to the banks to withdraw their money. The banks couldn't give them their money. So you're letting somebody else control your cash when you put it into the bank. Your money does not sit in that bank. You take it to the bank, put it in the bank. That money is not staying in the bank. It goes elsewhere.
Ocean David Zebra 302. Ocean David Zebra 302.
You'd be lucky if any bank has more than $50,000 in it.
320 said 11801. Incorrect.
But according to their records, they'll probably have millions and millions of dollars of people's money in their accounts for the bank.
64, okay.
64 copy.
62, code 6. Maryland, Kennedy, Charles Sam Edward 060. Charles Sam Edward 060.
Yeah. Banks work off of trust. That is true. Bank notes, yeah. The banking system here is broke.
61, can you give me a call?
Broken.
You can check this other. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a fiat currency, yes. Makes you feel all warm and fuzzy when you go put your money into that bank thinking, oh, it's insured. Look what happened in 2008.
Legit neighborhood health. Mail unit 15, starting 6103.
Loomis has all the money. Yes, everything's already digitalized. You know, you got debit cards. That's all digital stuff. Your credit cards, your debit cards. It's all digital. It's all digital money. It's all numbers in their computers. Yes, Federal Reserve note. Yes, and the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with our government, which is wrong. When our own government can't control its own currency, we got a problem. Yeah, FDIC banks can do whatever they want. Yes. You're already paying the banks to keep your money. They're already charging you for things to keep money. It's even worse when you get a check from somebody and you want to go cash it. ATM fees, that's one. Let's say you get a check from a company and you go to their bank to cash that check. That bank written from an account from that bank, they'll charge you money to cash that check. Anywhere between what is it now, $5 to $15 to cash a check written on an account from that bank because you don't have an account with them. Well, that's what you think. Someday you'll be dead and it doesn't matter. Well, it won't matter to you, but it does matter to the people that are living. Yeah, deposits in your bank for free, yeah. They'll let you deposit for free, no problem. That's money that they get to use. At that point, it's in their control and they use it how they see fit. There is some guidelines on how they can use it, but they're allowed to use it. They'll loan it out.
Go again, you're very low.
So the money you put into it, they loan out to people to buy things. They make money off of your money. A lot more than you make off of it by putting it into that bank.
Negative, we got 5166, East 117, stop in the middle of the road. And now he's
Open accounts with multiple banks?
quite oddly down the street.
Yeah.
Follow that course here, turn around, and going back east where it came from.
Banking system is nuts. Yeah. $10% fee of the check. I think they have to limit it to a certain amount, though. I don't think they can just go straight out 10%. It's gotten worse over the years.
6th Street, copy. You want me to keep you on your card or button closed up?
You can close it, thank you.
Yeah, for food stamps, yeah. Bartering with weed, yeah. Trading off your herbs for other goods. Like in the old days.
Yeah, 17 on North Suburban and
That's true, Denise.
040.
Copy that, transaction.
By the way, when you go in to sign up for that account, they bring you a paper saying, you know, that allows them to charge you money.
116
Especially if you got a debit card or something. This is, oh, we'll cover you if you happen to charge something and you don't have enough money in your account. We'll cover you. But they'll charge you for it. You don't have to sign that piece of paper that allows them to do that. When I opened my account, I didn't sign it. I told them, no, I ain't going to allow you to charge me. If I don't have the money in my account, you know, don't allow it to go through.
Thank you.
I'll spend what I have in my account, nothing more. That way, and they can't charge me for overdraft. I don't use checks. Checks are bogus.
Please that vehicle to the Colorado 10 tag 161-4431 161-4431.
Yeah.
Turn on an orange 2014 Ford Escalade. Correction, Ford Escape.
Debit, credit card, yeah. I use debit cards. And I can't charge more than what I have in my accounts. I don't get those overdraft fees. I don't get them extra fees because I never spend money that isn't in my account. If it's not in my account, it's not approved.
104 Livingston 555.
That's a fact,
John
Dave.
Robert Mary 555. John Robert Mary.
If I don't have the money in my account, I don't get it.
12 Old Chevy at Westminster, jumped up to 50.
AR61, can you clear too?
But banks make millions of dollars from people
All good?
that use that type of system where they'll write checks, overdrafts. They'll get charges onto their account.
Date of birth 12, or sorry, date 1288, date 1288.
Have a go with the second.
Last of Near, Nora, Edward, Adam, Robert, first of Amanda, Adam, Mary, Adam, Nora, David, Adam. Date of birth is 224.
It's as bad as credit card interest rates. Charging things onto your credit card and then paying a small amount per month and paying a high interest rate for it. They make billions of dollars from that. Living beyond your means. And that's supposed to make America richer? It doesn't. There's so many Americans in debt because of credit cards. And we live in a system that requires you to have credit, which means if you don't use credit cards, you don't have credit. So you're punished for paying for things with cash, paying for things that you can afford without having some method that they're making money on you. If they're not making money on you, you're punished by not having a good credit, making it near impossible to buy something that you're required to have credit for. That is true about if you pay your bills on time, you get good credit. But the amount of interest that you're charged on that stuff, if you don't pay it off like every month, it's ridiculous. If you're late paying, it's bad, yes. If you're only paying a fraction of what your bill is, it's bad. That we allow our banking system to do this stuff is not good. Yeah, exactly, Patrick. You pay that extra money so you can get better credit. Yes, there are secondhand stores here.
151 Brighton Road is the Best Western. That's going to be a male dressed in all black walking around the parking lot looking into the vehicle.
Buy a used TV or something. Well, there's always Craigslist and eBay and all that to buy used stuff, but you don't have many guarantees when you're buying it used. Best to pay cash, yes. Buy local, yes.
I'm sorry. Both of those are wrong. I was reading the wrong numbers. 9667. 9667 for Greer. And Amanda is 4667. 4667.
B-U-Y. Not B-Y-E. B-U-Y.
Okay.
We got a little buffer spot there.
One way, one break.
Yeah, it's all on loans. That's how they make their money. And we got Brighton taking a left over here and turning out their lights to my right now. They've gone black going on the right to me. Going in the parking lot.
It's going to be 57170 blue and brown.
Brighton blacked out over here.
Okay.
He's in the parking lot across the street where we were the other night. I'm gonna walk over there. You guys remember the hotel where I think the guy was smoking a cigarette in his vehicle? I think he just went into the same lot. He blacked out his vehicle lights going in, sneaking in. That's the grease monkey that I was standing on the property of. the other night. Don't get shot. Yeah. I didn't even hear the call. Oh, I left my phone in the vehicle. My scanner, well, regular phone. He's right there. Here's the second unit right here. We must have another suspicious vehicle here or something. He turned out his lights. We got a third unit right there. So we got 3 bright out here now. Here's the third unit. I don't even know what the call is. I wasn't paying attention to the scanner. They're going around the backside. This place seems to be popular for the police calls this week. The Best Western here. This guy's out of his vehicle somewhere. I don't know where yet. See if I can spot them. Got flashlights going on over here. I don't have my vest on tonight. They're right there. You can see them. They're right there. That's another hotel right there, by the way. So we got 3 hotels right here. Well, 2. We got the Hampton Inn. We got the Best Western right here. I think that building there is the new part of the Hampton Inn. Is what they built there. So it's probably the call for the Hampton Inn is what it is. Yeah, got all warm in the Jeep. Now I'm cold. What's that white stuff? What white stuff? There ain't no snow out here. That's just from the lighting up the parking lot. That's dirt that you're seeing on the ground here. Gravel. There isn't snow out here. Someone didn't pay the hooker again. Frozen road water. There's nothing out here. There's no, well, there is some wet spots out there, I suppose. Could be some ice. It's cold enough for some ice. There isn't really any snow out here, though. My hand's shaking a little bit. Didn't even bring my gloves out here. This is the parking for the trucks and stuff for the hotel. And you can see where they went to. Still over here somewhere. There's the other patrol unit right there. Must have been a suspicious person call. Another smoker out here having a cigarette. Who knows? That's what it usually is at these hotels, though. They can't smoke inside of them, and they have to come outside to smoke, so they come out here. They're too near vehicles. Somebody calls in, suspicious person. The one officer's just sitting over there. Yeah. Definitely getting cold fast out here. There they are. There's one of them. Heard the door. So one got back into his patrol unit. The other one's right there, talking to him, to the other guy. These are probably even officers that I know. Quit shaking. Damn. That's what I hate about the winter months out here. Get cold. It's hard to cop watch in the cold. Yeah, we're watching the cops do nothing again. Just like up there on Main Street. We didn't see him do anything up there either. Yeah, I've been rotating hands already. Putting them in my pocket. So, I bet this is an officer that I know. We'll see. Yeah. All right, how's it going?
Oh, not bad.
What was the call?
Could you hear us? Were you able to hear us on the scanner?
I actually didn't hear the call. I saw you guys pull in because I was across the street.
Yeah, it's just a suspicious person dressed in black trying to get into the building.
Oh, trying to get in the building.
Yeah, so they said that he might have had like a tool, like probably a crowbar or something. But just be careful if you're out here and whatnot.
No, I was across the street actually, sitting there talking to my audience. We were talking
cool. Are you
about,
live?
we were talking about the banking system of America.
Oh man, I'm not educated enough to know about that kind of stuff.
You know, it's messed up.
Yeah.
That's about all you need to know, really.
How's it so far?
Well, it's been boring. I actually haven't been out much. I went to the call up there on Main Street for the bar fight.
Oh, the bar.
But that didn't turn out to really be anything.
Yeah, it was kind of a good thing. Nobody's hurt. So.
Right. Nobody got arrested or anything.
Right.
So, but I've been sitting across the street just talking to my audience tonight is all, instead of going out watching things. And then I saw one of your cars come in, probably your car.
That was me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably me.
Then you went black, and I'm like, oh, something's up over here.
Yeah, I mean, can never tell.
That's
you
true.
weren't over here earlier, were you?
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
No, I
figured it's probably somebody else. But...
Yeah, I was in my Jeep across the street, sitting there talking to my people.
You're John, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I've met you before, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you. I'm JC.
JC, nice to meet you. So I don't know everybody's names for you guys, but I know a lot of you know me.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
or
you
know
showed
that
me
I'm
before.
around. So.
I think was that you off of at the Safeway on one of my crashes one morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never published that one, by the way.
Oh well.
I static recorded that one. I wasn't live.
Oh, gotcha.
The other officer kind of was trying to make me feel guilty about recording it, though. It's like, well, you don't need to record it. It's a bad enough morning for her already. And it's like, I thought about that. It's like, well, it's probably even worse now that she's getting a ticket rather than being recorded.
Right. And, I mean,
but I never did.
Have to do that, but,
I never did post that video up. I mean, a single car accident hitting a pole.
I mean, I see where he's coming from, but I see your perspective as well. I mean,
Yeah.
From all I know, I mean, it's insurance is what you're doing, or reassurance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't mind it.
So, well, most of you guys don't.
Yeah. How many viewers you got?
Right now, 79.
79 viewers?
Yeah.
79 people are awake at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, you're awake at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, that's why they come to my stream, so we can they can talk amongst each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we're out cop watching or doing whatever, stringers or whatever,
why not?
then then they see a lot more. So
curious question: are you curious question? I'm just curious myself, but are you guys able to hear us on the scanners, on the scanner apps?
Yeah.
Or is it like mixed with like other channels, or is it just?
It's mixed. The Adams County covers Brighton, Adams County, Commerce City, and North Glen.
Right. So like AdCom, right? Or
Yeah.
Adams County Communications.
Right.
Right before I got hired on, my wife and I used to listen to the same channel,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so hard for us to keep up, like who was talking and whatnot. So
Yeah.
One second it'd be Thornton, and the next second it'd be
Yeah.
North Glen. So
Yeah, I can usually tell by the car number type stuff.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Units.
Adams Counties will say Adam, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Brighton will say, I forgot what you guys say.
We use just common terminology, so just Brighton.
Yeah. So usually I can tell who it is just by listening, especially by streets and whatnot. When you guys are saying a street address or something,
Gotcha.
I can tell what area it's in.
Well, you live in the area too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you probably recognize a lot of the street names and stuff.
Well, I've lived in Denver area, Colorado for most of my life. So, in the Denver area, the majority of it. So,
How long ago did you move to Colorado? If you don't mind me asking.
Colorado, 68.
Oh, nice, very nice. So quite a long time ago.
Yes. I mean, like when I was 3 years old.
I'm right around.
So, yeah.
I moved up here 2012, right after high school. So I mean, right before marijuana did.
All right.
And then marijuana got legalized, and then that's when traffic. So don't blame me. That's when traffic got.
Well, you
bad.
think that's a bad thing, though?
Well, I mean,
It's actually a better thing because people are making money from it
that's
legally.
true. That's
For
true.
one,
Yeah, absolutely.
they don't have to hide it. For another, it's freed up the court systems tremendously because now it's legal.
Makes sense.
So,
That's a good
so
perspective, actually. I never
the
thought of
crime rate involving marijuana as a drug, you know, it's just gone now. You know, well, there's still
that. And
crime
that's
involved
absolutely
with that,
true, yeah.
but you know, the war on drugs failed us a long time ago, and that's one of the drugs that should have never been classified as an illegal drug. If you ever
Thought about it that
have
way.
you ever looked up the history of it, of how it got
I've skimmed
made?
it. I wouldn't say that I looked into it enough to know.
All right. Well, it was passed in the Senate way back when they called it. Actually, they didn't even call it marijuana at the time. They called it something close to that name. But back then, it was required to grow hemp.
It was required to cover.
Yes.
Weird.
No, actually, that isn't weird.
What was it? What was the purpose of it?
Well, you know what hemp's used for, right?
Can't see that I do.
Oh, you should look that up too then.
I gotta
But
do it.
hemp is used for so many things, it's unbelievable. As a matter of fact, after they outlawed it and we went to war for like World War II, the laws for marijuana and hemp were suspended and people were required to grow it again.
Interesting.
Because it's used for oils, it's used for rope, you know, like sailing and stuff.
Okay.
It's used for a lot of things.
Now I'm putting all the
Ooh,
connecting all the dots.
still shaking back. So,
I'll let you get
it's
out of
getting
here.
cold.
I know I'm cold. You're probably cold.
Yeah,
so I'm
I was in a warm Jeep.
hopefully it's still warm by the time you get back though. Are you
Oh yeah,
close by?
it's across the street
Okay.
by the
All right.
McDonald's.
Well,
But
is there anything else I can answer for you?
I don't know.
All right. So, well, appreciate it. It was
All
nice
right.
talking to you.
All right, we'll see you out here again, I'm sure.
Yeah. for
So-
sure. Sounds good.
I see you guys now and then and record you.
Okay.
I'm sure you see me out there.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, most of you guys don't.
Yeah.
So,
We
but
never
most of the
people-
time I'm not live out here in Brighton because of the cell phone signals, and I'll
is it back
static
here?
record it and then I upload them later if they're interesting. So that's why I actually don't have that many Brighton ones up, but I have a bunch of static recordings of you guys. But I was going to string them all together so it wasn't all short ones, you know, to give somebody, you know, something to watch if they wanted to. Yeah, but they're just standard traffic stops mostly. Mostly, not always. So, all right, I'm gonna get back to my warm Jeep because I'm starting to shiver.
Well, you have a good night. Too.
You too. Yeah. Yeah. All right, we'll go back to the Jeep, to the warm Jeep. Ooh, man, I'm getting a shiver bad. I don't have my gloves with me. I don't have my neck covering, my face covering thing with me. So I don't have everything to stay warm because I wasn't expecting to do a lot of cop watching. So, but hey, things happen. Yeah. But Brighton seems pretty decent to deal with as far as police officers. A lot better than dealing with like Denver, you know, or Federal Heights, some of the bigger cities, you know. It's a smaller town, so they don't act out like the other cops do as much because they have to deal with so much bullshit. It's more real.
After routine cover, Northland needs a female officer for a body search.
All right, get the heat back on.
Okay, give us a second.
Eric's and Otto's about to be free, yeah. Alright, what did I miss when I was talking with him? They even know my real name, of course. So, but yeah, if those guys looked up the histories of like marijuana, they would understand some of the stuff that, you know, has happened in regards to it. How much crime has decreased since they legalized it here in Colorado in some ways. That doesn't mean crime's gone away for it, but things have changed. Yes, Wobbly Boost would make me happy too. Oh. So mostly a talking session tonight, more than watching, but we've done a couple watches now. Yeah, I got the heater on now. Already starting to warm up pretty good. I've never actually encountered any issues with Brighton police officers, whether it's filming them, you know, recording them, or dealing with them in any manner. So Brighton's a pretty decent place to live for, you know, having to deal with the police if you ever do have to deal with them, from what I found.
You can have that.
Yeah, Spike Love, I do have another name.
Thank you so much.
The name my mother gave me.
Party flag again, so you caused by female white shirt and jeans. And she was like she had been raped and that she had warrants. She ran to a bus stop, right?
I got that.
So she might be associated with that dog show there I just ran earlier.
I got there. Plate is
So I ain't anti-cop, that's for sure. I'm against bad cops. I'll definitely have an issue with the cop giving me orders that, you know, are against our rights. You guys all would do that, though, if you encountered an officer that did that.
Just over the area, Bengals.
I don't know what conversation you guys are having there for between you guys. Your neighbor is a cop? Yeah. When I lived in Westminster, I lived a few doors down from a cop, from an Adams County cop, as a matter of fact. He seemed like a pretty decent guy. Yeah, that's true, Patrick. It was the Reefer Madness thing was all propaganda anyway. You know? Everybody knows it was all propaganda. They just don't want to admit it. You know, out in the open where the government says we were wrong. They don't want to say it. That has to do with Big Pharma as well. You guys know that. Marijuana used in treatment of cancer is proven. Yeah, in the 70s. Yeah, you knew it was all bogus stuff. It was an accurate description of your late teen and early 20s. Why? Did it make you crazy, John? I don't think it ever made anybody crazy like what they depicted in the movie. You know, that it would cause somebody to be murderous or whatever. Now, things like PCP, that's a whole nother matter. Makes you wonder why they came out with all the stories of marijuana being laced with PCP. You know, you'd hear about it, but you could never confirm it. They'd say that there was PCP in his system, and he attacked us. And he smoked a marijuana cigarette laced with PCP. Crushed up. I thought PCP was a liquid.
Female, ponytail, tattoo on her face.
Was in a big pill in the 60s. Okay, I didn't know that.
Female part of the ponytail, tattoo on her face, and smeared makeup at 3:47.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was a liquid because they said that they dipped the things in the PCP, so I would assume that it's a liquid. How would I know? I've never had the stuff. But even then, they were still blaming the stuff on marijuana, not the PCP.
My location, my assigned unit to NTD, one adult female, sorry, mileage is 76.4.
Copy of 348.
Did you guys know that George Washington grew hemp? That they required them to grow hemp as a crop? Were you guys aware of that? Old news? Well, yeah, a couple 100 years old.
700-722. Well, the dogs are done over there. See if they'll come over here where bug there is.
Yeah, hemp has so many uses
We're just now
that it's unbelievable. You can make clothes out of it. You make rope out of it. You can use the oils from it. I mean, back then they didn't have big oil. You know, they didn't have oil wells and whatnot. They used oils from whales. They used oils from hemp. They used, you know, oils from different things. But not petroleum oil so much. Petroleum wasn't around until much later and in demand until we started with vehicles. You didn't know that George Washington grew hemp? Yeah.
350.
Huh. Yeah. There's a lot of presidents that actually grew hemp. George Washington invented mac and cheese. Rope, sails, canvas, Levi's, hemp. Yeah. You can make clothes from it. Your ropes, your oils, your sails, canvas. Yes. There is so many things that you can do with hemp. And it grows easily.
Somewhere female might be late 30s, early 40s.
Paper, yes. Hemp paper. There is so many uses for hemp, it's unbelievable.
So if you advise last
The
charge,
Constitution and the first flag, yeah. So the uses for hemp are numerous, and now we're just now getting back to using more hemp again. It's a better alternative than cutting down trees for making paper and stuff like that.
Contact at 302. Heavy 50 contact you at 302 correction 351.
Is spam really a meat?
Be on the scene, any mileage is 77.9.
C352.
Hemp is the same price as premium cotton. Well, I'm sure it is now because hemp isn't as common like it was.
64, we'll be doing yard going from 116.
Wartime rations, yeah. Yeah, they suspended the laws making hemp illegal during World War II. Hempcrete. Actually, there's another name for that. What was the name of that? Oh, pikecrete. You know, you guys know what pikecrete is? Let's see how many of you people are knowledgeable. All right, think back to World War II. And they're trying to come up with ways to build a ship that would be more unsinkable. Pikecrete. You guys don't know what that is? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Code 6.
Back during World War II, they wanted to come up with a way to make a ship unsinkable as much as possible. So the idea they came up with was pretty interesting. They made a ship out of ice. But ice by itself isn't strong enough. So, do you know what they used? Which they ended up calling pikecrete.
Charlie 44 right.
No, not hay. Close though. Sawdust. There you go, cop blocker. They mixed water with sawdust and froze it, making pikecrete. And it made it like 10 times stronger. And the officer that came up with this idea made a block of it and had it on a ship. I think it was on a ship. And he had an officer that he's trying to show the properties of this to, took him in there and shot the block of ice, a regular block of ice first, and then the pikecrete with the sawdust with it. And the regular ice broke apart being shot, but the pikecrete was strong enough where the bullet bounced off of it. By the way, it hit the leg of the officer he was showing this to and wounded the officer during the showing of this. It's sawdust. Not straw, sawdust. And of course it floats. Sawdust is wood. Wood floats. Ice floats. They both float. They actually made a test ship made from this. They made an actual ship out of this stuff to test it, to see how long it would last. They even came up with plans for refrigeration units to keep them frozen, with the plans and everything, using coils to freeze, to keep the ice frozen so that they wouldn't melt fast. They wanted to build aircraft carriers with this stuff,
At 96th Avenue. I review all
so that if a torpedo hit it, they wouldn't sink.
929. David Frank Robert 929.
But they built a ship, an actual ship from it, with it, and it sat up in a lake for a couple years before it melted down. It sounds nutty, but it worked. They never used it.
I have prisoners on board. I'm not able to light it up. Can you start someone to me, please?
It sounds really nutty, but it works.
Maybe see it brighten the
It's 10 times stronger than normal ice.
Now we're at
It takes a lot longer to melt. But they had that one ship up there, and it took years for it to melt down. Years. And you're talking about summer heat and everything up there in the north.
We're still northbound. Highway 85.
We're still northbound through the town.
Oh, they got somebody northbound on Highway 85 over here that they want to light up, but they can't because they have prisoners. Would soak up water, expand and harden. Yeah. I got something on Highway 85 over here for a stop. I don't know if they're drunk or what. I wasn't paying attention to the scanner. Wood is heavy, but wood floats. Sawdust is lighter. Yeah, huddled up like penguins. Yeah, the heating system would be a little bit different for that kind of a ship. But the concept of it was very interesting because they wanted to build ships with it, in particular the aircraft carriers with them. And all you would need would be forms, basically, to form it the way you wanted it to. Carpet, yeah. They need refrigeration units too. It would have been really interesting if they actually got ships made out of ice to sail in the Pacific Ocean. You know, if they use sawdust up there for the ice roads, you know, like ice road trucking that they do, if they put sawdust in the water, those roads would last a lot longer and be a lot stronger. Because what would take, you know, 4 feet of ice to support a semi-truck and trailer would be a tenth of that, basically, to support the same weight.
Okay, I'll see if anyone can step up if you'd like.
So your ice road would last throughout the summer, really. Although it might still break up, especially on running water.
Copy, a Foster Airport. It's going to be westbound 112 from Highway 5.
That's down south.
12 from Highway 85. Be on the lookout for a 1-800 Sonata. Presently, David Frank Robert 99 again. David Frank Robert 99. This is Burke County. They were unable to stop it. Again, westbound 112. And I'm getting an update now that county did stop it, so we can disregard 0400.
Huh. Okay. But Pike Creek was one of the best things that frog in my throat there. Best things they actually came up for ideas to use, but actually never used it. Of course, they did use wood to make ships.
County stopped at 112th and Highway 85. They're requesting routine cover. If we have anyone, if not, right, we'll start.
112th and Highway 85. I'm not going to go down there though. PT boats were made out of plywood.
Copy, I'll show you now for one.
The patrol boats, the PT boats, were made out of plywood. Really cheaply made, but worked. They had to make a lot of boats fast for that war. Plywood boats worked.
For information, Commerce City also has a unit in route from area of Chambers and 112th Avenue.
Ice road truckers in India was insane. I've never seen that, Patrick.
Would you like Commerce City to stand down?
Well, for a while there, I didn't get any TV at all, so I didn't see anything about it.
Copy at 402.
But if you ever want to go camping and you need a ice block to keep your food cold, take a gallon jug of water and put sawdust in it. Mix it up and freeze it. And it will last your entire camping trip. No, that's a grease monkey across the street, guys. Oil change place, grease monkey.
3632, you can go ahead and stand down. Cover County, thanks for all your help.
But you can do it in smaller bottles too than a gallon jug. Take the 16-ounce bottles and mix sawdust in them so that they don't take as much room when you can have multiple ones of them. It'll last you for weeks. And you don't have to keep buying ice. So if you didn't know that trick, now you do. All right, guys, it's getting late. Any more history lessons we need to do? How you doing, Jody?
Can we go for a check there at 403?
And you rubbed your kitty's belly? Yeah. People buy $700 coolers now to keep their food cold. Yeah,
I'm seeing at 404.
they do. They buy $700 coolers. That's true. Yeah, just get some sawdust and get some water bottles of the 16.9 ounce ones. Put sawdust into them. You might have to take out some of the water. Mix them up real well. Throw them in the freezer and let them freeze up nice and solid. And use them for ice blocks when you're camping. If you did it right, the water bottles are able to expand enough without breaking apart. How much? You know, I never did get the mixture 100%, but you want a good amount in there.
520 Broadway Street, 7520 Broadway Street, unit number 208. RP Viola, advice loud music since midnight. It's discretionary, but it's not willing to sign.
Look up Pikecrete. Look up the recipe to it and see how much they mixed with it. They also tried concrete for ships too. That didn't work out so well, by the way. Huh, okay. Let's check that out, Patrick. Dry ice is easier. No, it's dry ice
That was Miguel.
evaporates quicker. Might be easier, but evaporates quicker. Doesn't last as long. But the sawdust and water frozen makes great cooler freezer, ice blocks. I never tried it. Mixing them, freezing it, and then putting it out in the sun like in the summertime to see how long it takes to actually melt one, much less be in a cooler. But I'll bet you it takes a good while to melt down completely.
I copy now.
Yeah, dry ice is always fun to play around with. I worked at a dry ice factory once for a while. Stuff's damn cold. Yeah, there's a lot more fun things, but hey, you do with what you can get. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream though. I'm glad you guys joined me tonight just for talking. One cop watch, two cop watches, really. But the talk is always interesting. You can always learn new things when you're just sitting around talking. I probably could, Emma. Probably could. Because the temperature's cold enough. Sure thing, FHK. So, I'm gonna get home, get this water indoors. I ain't gonna freeze out here. So, okay, everybody have a good night then, good morning or afternoon, wherever you're from. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take it easy.